Video Outhouse will now take a look at last week. Will you just flush it already? It's really gross.
Hey, what are you anyway? A wise guy?
Hey folks, Comic Book Man here. Welcome once again to my Video Outhouse. It's time for Week in Review, and this is the Week in Review for September the 29th, 2010. This is your look back into the week that was. If you check out Ship for the same week, that's our projecting into the week that was coming up. So you put the two together and you get bookends for this entire week. Everything you ever want to know about the week of September the 29th, 2010. First, at the top of the list, the thing you should know is it was a really light week. It was the 5th week of shipping month, when normally there's only 4 weeks in the shipping month. So there wasn't much that shipped last week. There just isn't. The industry is geared on a 4-week schedule. When you have a 5th week, the only thing that comes out on that 5th week is specials and late stuff and a couple of odds and ends, and that's what we had last week. But of the stuff that came out this week that we just had, this is the stuff that you should have paid attention to. Action Comics number 893. This book contains the death of Lex Luthor. No kidding. Swear to God, the death of Lex Luthor. Grodd kills him, and he falls down a cliff, and he hits his head like 8 times, and he's dead when he hits at the bottom. And we know for sure that he's dead because on the very last page, you can tell that we planned this stuff ahead of time. On the very last page, you have, where the hell is it?
It's the last page.
Her!
Who's that?
Her! That's Death. That's Death from the Vertigo universe. That's Death from Sandman. That's Morpheus' sister. She's in the DC universe now.
And came to get Luthor.
Yay. Anyway, she came to claim Luthor. Next issue, of course, will be her and Luthor sitting down and having a 7th seal conversation about the nature of life and reality in the universe.
And him talking her out of taking him.
Which should be just wonderful.
Sure.
Which should be just wonderful. I am not looking forward to next issue at all because I'm a firm believer that they should have kept her in the Vertigo universe and not crossed over to the DC universe. But what do I know? I'm only Comic Book Man. Also this week, Valkyrie number 1. This was a one-shot. This answered the question, how did Valkyrie come back when Asgard was brought back to life by J. Michael Straczynski? Well, like all the Asgardians, she was asleep in a human's body, and she gets awoken from that sleep by the Wrecking Crew, an old Thor set of villains, and she becomes the Valkyrie again, and this is a fairly okay read. Sweet Dan will be reviewing this, so look for his review to be coming soon. Also this week, Terminator number 1. This is Terminator 1984, 85, whatever it is, 1984. This is by Zack Whedon, and it's writing a prequel to the very first Terminator movie. So if you like the Terminator, you may want to check this out. Also this week, they're wrapping up the Frankencastle storyline. Frankencastle goes to Monster Island in the Marvel Universe, where all the monsters in the Marvel Universe live, the big ones and the little ones. A Werewolf by Night, Satana, Morbius, and the big Grim Graham Groom ones, and the giant monsters. They all live on Monster Island. Frankencastle finds his way there, and by the end of the story, he's back to being human again. He's back to being a human and looks an awful lot like The Undertaker from the WWE. But he's back to being human again and ready for his brand new series, which actually I can't get to, Punisher in the Blood. So, and this book is drawn by Mr. Dan Brereton, whose art I've always liked and is very moody and very monstery and works very well with this. Also, DC wrapped up its War Month this week with Mademoiselle Marie. Oh, you had dominatrix hookers in Nazi outfits and Marie killing them, and it was just great fun. It was great fun. And also, Atlas ended this week from Marvel. Marvel finally pulled the pin, put the stake through the Atlas heart. I'm sure that you'll see the characters back again in the Marvel Universe, but not in a book for any time soon. Now, in the news side, there were a couple of items that happened this week that were pretty important we ought to mention. Bob Harras was named the editor-in-chief at DC Comics. Dan DiDio and Jim Lee made the announcement. Harris was the group editor and collected editions editor at DC already, which meant he was in charge of the trade paperbacks. He had the same job at Marvel from 1995 to 2000, where one of the things he did just before he left was he created the Marvel Knights line and the Ultimates line. Now, he was gone before either of those lines actually took off and became as big as they eventually did become and as earth-changing as they become, but over at Marvel. But he was the guy who brainchilded those and got those started, so hopefully he will do a good job at DC, shepherding the editorial content of DC to greater, wonderful things. Also, this week, San Diego announced that the San Diego Comic-Con will be staying in San Diego through 2015. That's right, for at least the next 3 years. The con maxed itself out at 125,000 attendees back in 2007. They've been maxed out every year since 2007. They're looking for a bigger venue. You had Anaheim, California, and Los Angeles, California. They were both pushing to get the San Diego Comic-Con to come to them, but San Diego came in with the best bid, and so San Diego decided to stay. The San Diego Con decided to stay in San Diego, even though you can't fit more than 125,000 people into the building. So there you go. Now we're going to do a little bit of media news over in the media section, which is over where the posters are, and I'm going there right now. And media news this week. A couple of items came in. They're actually pretty big stories. Wonder Woman is going to be a TV series. Warner Brothers has greenlit a Wonder Woman TV series to be helmed by none other than David E. Kelley. Now, who's David E. Kelley? David E. Kelley is a man who brought us Legal Practice, or Boston Legal, Boston Legal, The Practice, and Ally McBeal, among many, many, many other shows. He's known for character-driven storylines, and he's known for sort of soap opera-y takes on stuff. He's never done action before, and this is an action character, so I'm not sure how that's going to work out. We'll see. There's no network assigned to this, but Warner's is going ahead with the series, and they're going to shop it around. That means it could wind up anywhere, including the CW. That's always a possibility, especially with Smallville leaving. We've talked before about Sandman coming to CW, but they could also wind up with two series, possibly, this and Sandman, but it could also just as easily wind up on CBS or ABC or NBC. So look forward to that. Also in media news this week, it was announced that Emma Stone has been cast as Mary Jane Watson in the upcoming Spider-Man film from Sony. Now, Emma is the star of The Easy A, which just recently came out. Did $16 million in its opening weekend, which Sony was very happy with, considering that it's not like a big event spectacle movie or anything. That it's just a sort of a romantic comedy, teenage sort of thing. Sony's got a history of rewarding stars that have performed for them, and Emma, because of the opening of the Easy A, would be in that category, so she wound up getting the role of Mary Jane Watson. We'll see how she does in the part in the new series that's coming up. Finally, we got Bat News. Bat News. Mr. Nolan, Christopher Nolan, announced this week that he will, in fact, be doing Batman 3. Big surprise. Everybody already knew that. It's got a July 20th, 2012 release date, which he indeed confirmed. He's going to be producing and directing it, and he is currently working on the screenplay right now with his brother, Jonathan Nolan. So look for that to come. Everybody's assuming Riddler will be in the movie. Of course, he has said nothing about the villain, but everybody's assuming that it will be, so we will see what the upshot of that will be.
He's not going to do Catwoman.
Or I'd go with Catwoman.
So would I.
I'd go with Catwoman.
She's the one out there, the next icon.
But you know what? With the two films that he's done already, I trust the man. So wherever you want to go, but my money's with Catwoman. But if you think you can do Riddler, go for Riddler. Go with Riddler.
Can't argue with that.
Who the hell am I? Anyway, now it's time for a little bit of wrestling news, and we'll be out of here. So time for wrestling. And in wrestling this week, this was the week the Sci-Fi Network got SmackDown. It made its jump from My Network TV to the Sci-Fi Channel. Stars aplenty were on the first SmackDown, including a bunch of folks from Raw. Cena showed up, Undertaker showed up, Lumpy showed up, Paul Bearer showed up, although I think he might have shown up early, but Paul Bearer was there also. That, of course, led to the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Here are some of your results from the Hell in a Cell. Paul Bearer turned on the Undertaker. Big surprise, and he's teaming up with Kane. Everything old is new again. For those of you who've been watching wrestling for any length of time, and by that I mean like over a decade, you know that you've seen this before. Anyway, he turned on the Undertaker, and the Undertaker lost. Cena lost in a Nexus, which means he'll be wearing an ugly black shirt with a big yellow N on it tonight on Raw. Michelle McCool beat Melina. Sheamus lost to Randy Orton. Daniel Bryan beat The Miz and John Morrison. And our last story is NXT is internet only. If you enjoyed NXT on Sci-Fi Network, well, you're done enjoying it on the Sci-Fi Network because they have absolutely no interest in carrying NXT now that they have SmackDown. But they still have like 4 episodes left of NXT, so where will you find it at? WWE.com. That's the only place you'll find the last 4 episodes of Nexus or NXT, and if you're in Europe, whatever they were playing on in Europe is still carrying them also. So if you're in Europe, you're fine. If you're in America, you're watching it on the internet. So that's it. We're done. We're finished. We're out of here. That's it for the Week in Review. But you can read more see more Week in Reviews, as well as DC news and Marvel news and wrestling news and media news. And where's all that at? Sarah knows.
www.maraltonetradio.com.
So stop off at the store's website and check out all that news, plus reviews, plus shipping, plus a whole bunch of other stuff. And until next time, this is Comic Book Man saying...
Bye!
Be sure to catch comic creator writer Henri Campan in store Wednesday, October 13th.